Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Good day, God bless you. Welcome back, guys. My name is Zach, and this is episode 68 in the Self-Mastery series. Hi, guys. Just wanting to break into the middle of my day, having a great day off of work, my second day off. It is about, it is right at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I was just having an amazing day. So, some lights going off, and I'm always thinking about and concentrating on how am I going to reach my goals and what actions am I going to take to get there. And so just a quick rundown, just what does a good day look like for me is, I got some good sleep for one. I fell asleep early, I think maybe around 9 p.m., so that wakes me up automatically at about 4 a.m., 4:30 maybe. So I was up early, feeling good, kind of had a little bit of that sleep inertia and kind of rolled around in bed for a minute. But, I was sitting up and chatting with my fiance and getting ready to face my day. So a couple cups of black tea. There's actually one big cup with 2 bags in it. So like 2 cups of black tea get me amped up. I'm thinking about moving my body more and eating less, and I'm trying to come down. I'm always like writing a book in the back of my mind, and right now I'm writing like a pamphlet, maybe. Like I kind of want to write just a little fitness and diet pamphlet, just to help people get to where they want to be and help myself. A lot of times the next level of anything you're learning is to become the teacher, even when you haven't mastered it yet. And a good example of that would be to become a black belt in jiu-jitsu, where a lot of times it's you open your own school and you're teaching other students for 10 years before you actually get to that black belt level. So to equate that to what I'm doing now is, that's that's the whole reason I started the YouTube channel, was to just get my thoughts out on video and get feedback from people and really get feedback from myself. So just taking the baby steps necessary to hit those goals. I have the goals, I have the weight loss goals, but I'm learning you really can't focus on something that, if I kick ass every single day from here on out, is gonna take 6 months, 9 months to get to my goal weight. And that is if I just crushed it every single day from here until then. Can't focus on that because that's just too much. I can't imagine. Okay, so it's take little steps. So today I got up and I was not really wanting to get up, and I was talking to my fiance. That always lifts my spirits, and I'm like, all right, let me go get my tea. And I had some very strong hunger. And my goals kind of came up, and those goals kind of turned into like, what is my daily habit going to have to look like to get that goal to be a reality? And it's like, Zach, you just can't eat every time you're hungry, so I just kind of let it go. And I did a little bit of riding on my bike, like something to just jump on my exercise bike here. I'm just loving having it in the room, and I can just knock out like 1 kilometer, just 5 minutes or whatever. And I started thinking about it. It's like, okay, let's just do that every time you're getting sidetracked, because it helps me when you're taking actions that are going to form the habits that are going to be the rest of your life. It feels good. It's like when you're climbing that mountain and you pull yourself up one more rock or one more step or one more click up the mountain, it's this feeling of success, even though you're not at the peak yet. So things like that are making me feel really good. So then I got up and I had my tea and I let that hunger pass, and it did. And it was about 9 a.m. or something like that, 10 a.m. And I was like, let me just go out for a little walk and maybe I'll jog a little. But I just want it to be easy. And I have some notes written here I'm going to talk about, kind of just trying to boil this down to the most simplest program possible, because that's what people will do is easy. And so I have to make this as easy as possible. And I am people, I'm including myself. So I went for like a 2.5 mile. I went on my normal loop that I used to jog, and I think it's right at almost 3 miles, but I don't remember. Let's just say 2.5 to somewhere between 2.5 and 3 miles. So I walked it. Felt amazing. Like I didn't even want to get going. It was cold out this morning in Minnesota. Not freezing cold, but it was like in the 30s, and so a little chilly on my hands and ears and stuff. But I had my earbuds in and listening to some motivational books. was more habit forming ones that I always enjoy. Like, I'll read a book that I really think is awesome, and it's like, man, I got to come back and read this again someday. And then I'll read like 10 other books. And then you go back to the other one that you really liked, and it pops even more because of these other books and other information and other resources you're putting all together. And so then at the end, for about the last, I'm going to say quarter mile, third of a mile, yeah, at least a third of a mile, I jogged really slow, just a little trotting, like 5 miles an hour jog. And then, also I did stop several times and knock out some push-ups. And the first time I stopped, I did a legit military style set, 30 push-ups straight, and I felt amazing. I was like, man, can I do a set of 50? It's definitely coming up. Like all them, even the easy push-ups all of January. Like I said, I was doing them off my knees, doing them off of tables, doing them off of hand railing, just wherever, even almost standing straight up, almost like even against a wall. Just do the reps, and you know, and like I said, I'm over 250 pounds, right around 250, and I can knock out a set of 30 legit push-ups. So that felt good. And I stopped other times and did like 10 or 20, and so that was just felt good. And got back to the house, and I was like, wow, the hunger went away. You know, I'm just not even hungry anymore. And I went on the bike again a little bit, like another kilometer, and just staying, doing the reps. You know, not just what will I do. What can I do? What will I do? What will I stick to? What will I be? What will just become habitual and easy? And these things seem habitually easy. And like if I have a goal that I want to focus on, because you can't always just look at the goal. You have to look down and take a step. So where does your laser focus has to be? Your laser focus has to be on exactly what you're doing right here, right now. It can't be, I mean, I think having goals is good, but it's kind of almost has to be in the back of your mind, the goal. And then the next thing you need to focus on is, well, what actions do I need to take to get to that goal? And let's just see, you know, let's say your goal is weight loss or running a marathon or whatever. And then what are the actions necessary? And it's like, okay, for me, the weight loss goal is somewhere between 150 and actually maybe even all the way up to close to 200 pounds. It just depends on where I feel awesome. But let's just cut it down the middle and say like 175, I'll be in amazing shape. Okay, so what actions do I need to take? I need to walk, I need to run, I need to work out, I need to, you know, like I said, just do my reps and, you know, just move more. You know, the old way that I always did it when I was ripped as a teenager. I knew to move more and eat less when I was a Golden Gloves boxer up until about till 20. And somehow I just lost track of how simple it really can be, you know, because I was extreme eating less and extreme moving more, that, you know, that seems like something I could not do now, but I can easy move more and easy eat less. And I just want to make a little note here. I want to mention before I forget coming up here. So moving more is just walking, running, just easy, you know, I have it in the back of my mind now, if I want to go for a jog, to just jog until I'm feeling any tired and then just stop so that it's easy. So like, oh man, that 10-mile run, I'm going to be dying the last 5 miles, or almost the last 8 miles, last, you know, half of it or whatever, you know, during a trip, whatever, you know, it's going to be sucking. Well, then it's going to make you want to not do it as badly. I mean, if you have the proper motivation and something's in your heart to really go get it, then yeah. But for most people, quitting is just so much easier than pushing yourself to that next level. And it's a survival instinct. So walk, run, just make it easy. Hiking, like make it enjoyable walking, make it enjoyable jogging. Like hiking on the Superior Hiking Trail a couple of years ago, I jogged like 23 miles with a 50-pound pack on in a day, and it just felt amazing, you know, because it was fun. It was what I wanted to do. And then I got push-pull legs, like hitting the gym. Easy, like lightweight, high reps, or just reps until you're burning, just whatever you want to do. You know, you don't need to overtrain to get the benefits of lifting weights. And my final note here on just move more is to do the reps. And I really feel this could be the habit that sticks with me forever. Is to just do reps, anything. Just get in. Get the miles in on your feet. Get the miles in on a bike. Get the miles in on a rowing machine. Get the miles in on an elliptical. It doesn't matter. You're just getting in reps. And then the same thing with lifting weights. Push, pull, legs, Just work it and make it easy. I mean, if you did, maybe I'll set some goals for February here. We're only 5-6 days into it, to just lift weights, like do some bicep curls, do some tricep extensions, do some lat pull downs, do some bent over rows, do some squats, do some, I don't really like deadlifts. They mess your back up, but just do simple exercises and low weight and enough volume that it's going to have a benefit. And it's going to be just like January, where I did thousands and thousands of reps of everything when you add it up, and it was all simple. Like I said, just doing push-ups even off my knees. I got the reps in. So that's not so hard for me. Like this is pretty easy. This move more part has never really been the problem for me. I mean, I ran my first marathon, half marathon, at 251 pounds. Like, that's a guy that's just motivated to go do it. And I did it with only 8 weeks of training. Okay, number 2 of just how to do this easy and simple is we got to cut out some meals. We got to intermittent fast. We got to fast. We have to eat smaller meals. We have to go low carb, low fat, whatever. 2,000 calories a day diet, calorie trackers and fitness apps. All of that counts. And just how do we put that all together into a easily manageable package? And it's just eat less. We have to eat less, and it's less calories, but less. Eat less poison. I'd rather say eat less toxic food. Eat more whole foods. Not necessarily whole grains, because most things that call themselves whole grain aren't whole grain anyway, and grains are not exactly the most natural thing. You don't just see corn popping up in the middle of the jungle. What you do see is fruits and vegetables, though, and nuts and seeds and berries, and of course meats running around everywhere. And if you don't believe in eating meat, that's fine. If you do, it's in Leviticus chapter 7, the book in the Bible. Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. Explains what meat to eat. So I won't even describe what meat to eat, because God did it for us. Again, that's Leviticus chapter 11, verse 7. And so I've done all these things, cutting out meals and intermittent fasting and tried to eat smaller meals and low carb. Low fat I don't really believe in, but it does help you reduce your calories, because a gram of fat, which has very little volume, has 9 calories, whereas a gram of protein, which has more volume, has, on a molecular level, has only 4 calories, and also isn't absorbed by your body as fuel. It's used by your body as building blocks. So I would say at least the first 50 grams of protein you eat a day, you could count as no calories, because a calorie is a unit of heat, and then it's measured by how much it would count to burn that as fuel. Well, protein is not burned as fuel unless it's converted through the process of gluconeogenesis, and then that's a whole nother subject anyway. But low carb, low fat, but definitely low sugar or no sugar, no processed sugar for sure. Man, I think maybe that's something I should really buck to go on a whole month. Maybe I'll pledge to just go the rest of the month. Have I eaten any sugar this month? I don't think I've eaten any dedicated sugar. I've eaten peanut butter this month, which has sugar in it, but I haven't eaten anything like a piece of candy or ice cream, which, by the way, if you go back to the beginning of my channel, how much I talked about ice cream and junk food and snacks and trying to get off of them. I haven't had ice cream and I don't even remember the last time. So baby steps, and then eventually you're so far away from where you started, you can't even see where you started. And it's amazing, and you're just still heading towards your goal. So that's kind of a lot to wrap up there, but overall it's just eat less and eat as complete of a nutrition. Like, why am I eating? So far today, and I'll show the bowl, because I didn't finish it all. There's some salad in there. It's all full of olive oil and vinegar, but I had this salad bowl probably 2/3 filled up, or at least half filled up, with lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, hard-boiled eggs for some protein, a little bit of shredded cheese, and then my homemade dressing with the olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and brown mustard. And it's a huge filling meal with nothing but healthy, nutritious, fueling my body with what it needs to perform at a peak level, and nothing else. And I could have quit eating it a lot sooner, and that's why I was going to eat the whole thing. And I was like, well, just train yourself to stop eating while it's still some left. And there was just barely any left, but I was like, it's a step in the right direction to stop, because I intended to eat it for 2 meals and I ate it almost all in one. But that's part of that being laser focused. You have a goal to lose weight, so and to take these steps. And it's like, okay, in 6 months, 9 months, I'm going to be 175 pounds. And you can't look at that, though. You got to look at these individual actions. These actions I need to take, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then you can't look at all, let's say 5, I just said, you can't look at all 5. You got to look at one. And which one? The one you're doing right here, right now. That's where you focus. So these actions, like jumping on the bike or going for a walk or just dropping down and knocking out push-ups. The push-ups, I've been doing like that, like just pushing up against a table or a guardrail or anywhere. I've been doing that for like 25 years probably. So that's completely, man, I don't even know if it's a habit. It's an identity. It's just who I am. I can feel the burn in my triceps, and being a Golden Gloves boxer, I know that gives a lot of punching power and upper body strength and wrestling strength for jiu-jitsu and wrestling and blah blah blah. And so that it's just, I can keep doing that super easy. So I'm trying to add things into that, like just going for an easy walk, jumping on the bike. I bet you I jump on the bike after this because I'm getting so motivated just talking to you guys. So those actions I want to turn into habits that just never end. So for now, I just need to stay just laser focused on right here, right now. What am I doing? And, I've talked about Nike's slogan, just do it. It's a great slogan. It's like the greatest of all time. And then Yoda, he said it even better. It's just do or do not. There is no try. So there's a little psychological story about, like, say 2 people are quitting smoking. Smoker A, smoker B. Smoker A goes to work and says, and his buddy says, oh, you're not going out for have a cigarette with us? No, thanks. I'm trying to quit. And Smoker B, you're not coming out to smoke a cigarette with us today? He's like, no, I don't smoke anymore. See, it's a subtle difference, but Smoker A believes he's still a smoker and he's trying to quit. Smoker B has moved on and is no longer a smoker. So it's just talking about the do or do not. I don't even want to put the do not in it. There's just do. And it's the last note I have on my paper here today. And it's just, what do you focus on? It's focus on do. And do go for a walk. Do push-ups. Do eat smaller meals. Do fasting. Do intermittent fasting. Do low carb. Do 2,000 calories a day. And I really like this 2,000 calories. And a lot of like nutrition labels, it'll say based on a 2,000 calorie diet, and it seems pretty irrelevant because they're usually showing like percentages of, like, let's say it shows the carbs and it'll say 30%, and it's based on this is how many carbs you're eating. 30% of the carbs required for a 2,000 calorie diet if you eat this serving of whatever the food is. Well, those percentages are way off anyway, but the 2,000 calorie goal per day is probably right on the money for most, like, morbidly obese people. Men. Women maybe drop it down to 1,800 or 1,600, but for men, I mean, if you're over if you're over 250, you could probably eat 2,000 calories a day, assuming you're doing some movement. You're not just trying to cut your calories to lose weight without any exercise. If that was the case, I'd probably say for a man, drop it down to 1,800. But if you're a 250-pound guy like me, or a 315-pound guy like I was, you really don't need to add any more calories just because you're that much bigger. But you can. You go by your basal metabolic rate. But just overall, I think if you're 250, 350, 450 pounds, and you just cut that caloric intake to 2,000, because that's going to maintain a weight of about 200 pounds minus activity. So if I just start eating 2,000 calories a day today, which I've actually been following this for a few days already, all last week. That's why I lost 5 pounds last week. And stick to that. but don't count it as exercise either. Like if I go for a 5-mile walk and I think I burn 500 calories, don't eat 500 more calories. Just stick to your 2,000 calories and make them count. Make those calories count. If you're an overeater, like you just want to be full feeling, there's some really easy ways to do that. And one of them is like vegetable soup. But like today, like my big salad, it's mostly lettuce. The largest amount of volume in it was just shredded lettuce. You see how many calories are in shredded lettuce? And I was so full I couldn't even finish it. And it had some, like I said, some cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers that have more calories. But to just fill up, if that's your point, is to just feel full because you don't feel full off of 2,000 calories. It's like, well, no, you don't feel full off of 2,000 calories of shit food, of sugar food. Sugar just provides zero nutrition to your body. They did a study back in the day with mice. This is crazy, just bringing up sugar. They talked about, they just had these mice and they fed one water. They put one in his cage with water and they put the other one in the cage with water and water mixed with cocaine. And this is way back, so I don't know if it was 50 years ago or what, but so the test mouse, they wanted to see just how much water would he drink normally, so they had a base to go off, and it's like, okay, he'd drink a little bit and go play on his wheel and eat and drink a little bit and play on his wheel and pee and whatever. In the other cage with the cocaine water, the mouse found the regular water, he found the cocaine water, he never drank the regular water again. Then he drank the cocaine water nonstop until he died. So cocaine is addictive, right? So this study showed that a mouse will be so addicted to the cocaine water they won't stop drinking it even till the point where their heart explodes, whatever, however you die from cocaine. I don't know. I would guess like heart attack or something. So then they continued the study because they really were wanting to study how addictive sugar was. They took the mice, they didn't even put the regular water in anymore. They put cocaine water in all the cages with the mice, and they put sugar water. And the same thing, except for they didn't even touch the cocaine water. Once they sipped the cocaine water, they sipped the sugar water. They drank the sugar water, and it didn't kill them so rapidly, but they just drank a lot more of it and a lot more of it and a lot more of it. And I don't remember the conclusion of the study, but it showed like the health detriment to the mice that had so much sugar in their body, as far as like kidney problems and liver problems and pancreas problems and insulin resistance. And, but my God, it proves, and later on they proved it in a little more scientific way. I've read about this same study that was used to do another study proving that sugar was more addictive than cocaine. And since that study was like 50 or 70 years ago, then the other one I read about was more recent, like say in the last 20 years, that it was determined that the sugar was 8 times more addictive than cocaine. So maybe give yourself a little break as far as, you think you have some problem with carbs and with sugar and with, you just can't stop eating junk food. And hey, it's real. It is a real problem that people are, you're not unique in any way. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not suffering from some disease that makes you addicted to sugar. It's addicting. There's a reason they've put so much sugar in all of our food. And guys, that brings up a point. I was also reading a book, Audible book, yesterday and the day before. Actually, it was a few days ago while I was at work. During my 4 days on, I read an Audible book. It was called something like The Psychology of Self-Discipline or something like that. That is not exactly right, but it was something like that. And they're talking about the amount of sugar that has been added to our diet, like since 1980. So not even, 1980 isn't that long ago to me, but since the 80s, our sugar intake I think it was from like 82, the study was done, and then they did it again where they measured the average amount of sugar that Americans consume like annually. And it had increased like 400% since the 80s. And it just goes to show, like, food companies, maybe it's not that big of a conspiracy. It's just they know it's addictive, and they're going to sell more of their product, and their company's going to make more money, and rah rah rah. So it's like, hey, you want, like even like promoted like a protein bar or something in a fitness store, and you flip it over and it's got like 50 grams of sugar in it, and it's like, what kind of sucker is, well because it's delicious. They it's got protein, it's got vitamins, it's got minerals, it's got creatine, it's got branched chain amino acids, it's got glutamic acid, and then you eat it and it's like, oh my god, it tastes just like a candy bar. This is amazing. And it's like, because it is a candy bar, dude. Like, there is nothing good about that thing. You throw some vitamins and minerals in with some rat poison, it don't make it not rat poison. So that all got yakking because of the low carb, low fat, low sugar. So just knock out the sugar. And one big one for me, like going back to be pre-2016, pre-January 23rd, 2016, I drank milk. I have not drank any milk since January 23rd, 2016. Like, I haven't bought a gallon of milk or half a gallon, or I've maybe added a dash of milk in my coffee because I ran out of almond milk. Like, if I was at somewhere where they had milk, I don't have milk, so probably less than a cup of milk in the last, like 8 years. So, because that's just pure lactose, that's just liquid sugar. That makes a baby cow gain 600 pounds in 1 year. So just cut out stuff like that. And of course, soda pop. I mean, that is a no-brainer of no-brainers. It's not just weight loss either. It is just all cause mortality. I mean, sugar in your blood is just so bad in every way. It's just detrimental to every cell in your body. Diabetes, for example, is the only disease that affects every single cell in your body at the same time, because the sugar goes everywhere and it's harming you everywhere. So knock out the sugar. This little note here I wrote a little while ago, before I forget, I want to mention it, is, I've talked about the cold showers on and off, and I got into these about 3 years ago now, January, February, or is it going on 4 years? Yeah, it might be 4 years now. I think March will be 4 years. It's February 2024 right now. And I started them because of the benefits to your immune system, the purported benefits to your immune system. You're raising your T cells and all these different supposed health benefits, and watching Wim Hof, Wim, W-I-M, Hof, is it just H-O-F-F, Wim Hof, something like that, Swedish dude. He's famous for like running marathons in the North Pole, and just, like with shorts on, and, doing this cold therapy. And when I read about they were doing some research on, he claimed that his body could like kill like viruses and flu viruses, and what else was he claiming? Like even Ebola, which is, like way deadlier than your common cold or flu. That they could draw his blood out, and they could put Ebola in his blood, and his blood would kill it. And it did. Like immediately, like within seconds of the Ebola. They were looking at it under a microscope, and his T cells in his blood and his immune system just killed it immediately. And then they asked him, can we inject it directly into you? Because after they did the study, they realized it seems like this dude's legit. He agreed, yeah, go ahead. And they injected him with Ebola, which, if you don't know, kills like most everybody that get it within 24 hours. That's why it's not so pandemic worrisome, because it's hard to spread it. You get it and you die, and you didn't travel, you don't cross borders, you don't, infect that many people, because you die so fast. But anyway, he didn't die. So, and then I read about him, and it was because of cold therapy and some breathing exercises that I started doing some years ago, maybe like 3 years ago. It's just deep breaths, kind of hyper panicking, and then holding your breath, and it's this whole system. You'd have to just Google Wim Hof, just YouTube Wim Hof breathing techniques and Wim Hof cold therapy. So anyway, talking about the cold showers, the cold bath, like submerging your body in cold water would be the best. like ice bath would be the best. But I just do the cold showers because that's what I have. I'm thinking about maybe getting some big bags of ice and just doing a cold bath, just because I'm reading so much more positive benefits about it. It's just like, how could I not want to do this? So what I didn't even realize was, boosting your immune system. I knew it's like, okay, improving circulation and blood flow and men's health, guys. Bam! Like, do cold therapy, okay? I didn't know it was such a great fat burner. So, for example, I don't have the exact numbers. I've just researched a little bit as far as like, what could you do to burn the most amount of fat off of your body in the shortest amount of time. And there is nothing that comes even, second place is like 10,000 miles behind of just submerging yourself in cold water because of your body's shock reaction and survival instincts. So water is like, is it 40 something times more, what do you call it? Like thermogenic, like cold air will draw heat out of your skin, and cold water draws the heat out like 45, 47 times faster. And so you dip in that cold water. For me, as a cold shower, I just had it, the longest cold shower I've ever taken, I just took before this video. And it was part of the reason it just motivated me. Like, let me make a video after I'm having such a great day. So your body's going into shock, trying to survive. And to lose fat, you have to lose heat. Like when you say burn fat, you're literally like body heat leaving is fat leaving your body. Sweating is fat leaving your body. Moisture leaving your body and from fat cells. And sweating is, if you're sweating from a workout, you're burning fat. But there's nothing comparable to the heat loss of that. Start out with 10 seconds, but I 5 minutes is kind of the goal for me. I want to get up to 10 minutes maybe with these cold showers. I think I was close today. I didn't have a timer in there, but I became very comfortable after a while, and my hands were numb and my skull was numb from so cold, and I was still just standing in there. Just felt great. I wasn't hyperventilating. It reminded me of the first time, like, oh my God, I could not have done this a few years ago. It's inspirational when your body adapts like that, and you see like, oh my God, my body's adapting and it's getting better. So the only reason I'm overweight right now is because I haven't been consistent. That's just bottom line. Haven't been consistent with the 2,000 calories. And that's what I'm focused on sticking with now. So this is I feel like I'm really wanting to record these videos now because I want to show where was I in case I ever slip up again. Where was I when I just all of a sudden I just lost all the weight in 6 to 9 months? And I want people to be able to see those too, because you can go on YouTube and say, show me a YouTube video where a guy lost 50, 60, 70 pounds in 6 months, and you'll find him. And he'll have a picture from 6 months ago and a picture from 3 months ago, and then he'll have his live video. But he won't have videos of the whole process of gaining weight and losing weight and struggling up and down. And we've all done it. Everybody has lost weight. If you're trying to lose weight now at 52, you've tried to lose weight a lot of times throughout your life, especially women, but men as well. Men just tend to be a little less self-conscious about their physical appearance, which kind of blows my mind. I was considering that today, like so much of what men do is to please women, as far as like to not please them, but to attract them to us. And whether it's make more money or be more physically fit or be dominant or, be that alpha male is kind of what I've called myself my whole life. I'm just super confident, and I've always been able to engage with women in whatever way I want to. And then it's like, well then, why wouldn't you be more fit? Like I don't know. It's a joke to me. Like, dude, you got to want to do it for yourself is really what I concluded. I was on my walk thinking about it. And I think you have to love yourself. You have to understand where your place is in this universe, who Jesus Christ is, that he was here and that he died for your sins. He was crucified on the cross in Jerusalem. Yes, by Roman soldiers, but by the crowd that wanted him crucified. Barabbas was trying to let him go, or no, it was Barabbas was the other criminal. What was the name of the Roman governor there? Oh, now it slipped my mind. Anyway, he was definitely here, and he was definitely crucified, and the Bible says he was the Son of God, and he was God, and he was crucified for us. When you understand that, and you take your role in just what Christianity and what the body of Christ is all about, and how just have faith, have hope, and above all, have love in your heart, because Jesus loves you guys. I love you, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.